What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about in-store shopping with Instacart, because this may be one of the better moves in rideshare right now. With all the mileage that you can put on your car when you're taking orders for DoorDash or Grubhub, you spend a ton of time driving around. This adds up to gas expenses, wear and tear, maintenance, just other stuff that you might not factor in when you're looking at your wages. And then at the end of the day, when you're paying those taxes, all of a sudden, a lot of your income and your earnings are now going towards paying those expenses. But with Instacart as an in-store shopper, you show up to the store. You don't even have to drive your own car there. You can take the bus. And then you spend your time just picking out items and fulfilling orders in store for somebody else to deliver. So in Seattle, the current wage is $16 an hour for shoppers that just want to focus on in-store shopping with Instacart. And that wage is also comparable to California wages in some regions. I've also heard that $16 an hour is the going rate. It's a little bit cheaper in other areas, and this kind of depends on what the cost of living is in your region. So it's as low as $11.50 and maybe even a little bit lower in some places. But it's pretty accurate based upon how expensive it is to be in your region. And at the end of the day, this works out to be a pretty good number when you consider that you're just getting paid that rate and you're not really having any expenses that have to do with this. You don't have to worry about all of that. You just have to worry about the shopping. And so the way it works is when you originally apply for Instacart, you can select whether or not you have a car, whether you want to do in-store shopping or full service shopping or both. If you select the I don't have a car option, you will be limited to only in-store shopping. And a lot of shoppers decide to do this, maybe even if they already have a car, just because they don't want to put that mileage on their car. So it's definitely a good option to consider. So when you get an in-store batch, you have a certain amount of time that you have to complete that batch within, and that entirely depends on how many items are going to be in your order. So usually it's like 20 or 30 minutes for small to medium-sized batches. But if you get a really big batch, you might end up allocating a lot of time just to that specific batch. Usually Instacart is going to request that you take time when they're busy, and so you're going to have a lot of orders coming your way. But occasionally you'll get some downtime, and it'll actually be a really chill job. Overall, it's definitely a very easy job, easier than a lot of stuff out of there on the market. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at it. And if you're worried about that wear and tear and those expenses, that's really the big thing here, is that you're not devaluing your car by doing this, and you're not going to have a ton of maintenance to pay at the end of the year. You're really just going to get paid by doing something that's pretty fun, pretty easy to do, and you'll probably enjoy doing it as well. So when you sign up to be an in-store shopper with Instacart, they give you this cool lanyard that kind of lets people know in the store that you're shopping for Instacart, and it kind of helps let people know that you're in a hurry, maybe get out of your way, maybe not, depends on how nice they're feeling. I've seen a lot of other in-store shoppers that get t-shirts from Instacart. Personally, I did not get one, but it seems to be something that they have sent out in the past and maybe send out to certain regions. If you haven't signed up yet and you're looking to sign up, you can potentially get a sign-up bonus if you use my link down below to sign up. So go ahead and check that out. And when you want to sign up to be an in-store shopper, you have to make sure that you can work the minimum hours of availability, which is 15 to 16 a week. And essentially what you have to do is make yourself available to work those hours. You might not even get that many hours a week, but you have to clear it and set it aside. So if this is a part-time thing for you, you just want to do it on the weekends, maybe a Saturday, Sunday thing, you can keep your full-time job, your other gigs or whatever, and just allocate that time on the weekends to potentially working for Instacart and set it up that way. But you do kind of have to put that time aside just for Instacart. The maximum hours a week is 29 hours a week, at least here in Seattle. And I haven't really heard of people maxing out those 29 hours. But if you look at doing that amount of hours, it actually becomes closer to full-time employment, which is pretty good, considering the low expenses that we talked about earlier. And Seattle has been bringing in a lot of new stores to do full service shopping with Instacart. They recently just brought on the Soto Costco. And they've had to make up for some losses because Whole Foods, now owned by Amazon, is no longer doing Instacart in-store shopping, because Amazon, of course, has Amazon Flex to do that for them, and they don't like competition. It was kind of a moment of concern for people that were doing in-store shopping with Instacart, because that was a huge chunk of business that kept a lot of people busy. But Instacart has been going hard, pulling on these other businesses, these other stores, and Costco is a big one. So I'm sure it's similar in other areas as well. Now I do want to give a couple of tips, because there are some ways that you can kind of become more efficient as an in-store shopper with Instacart. And the big one is speed, and it applies to everything. But if you do it faster, you're going to be able to get more batches done, and this shows Instacart that you're an efficient shopper, and they actually like to keep your speed at a certain level. And it's kind of competitive, but the more you do this, the easier it gets. I remember the first batch that I ever did, it was actually real frustrating because I don't spend a lot of time shopping in grocery stores, and I generally just get like the same thing every time, so I don't know where everything is, but it does get a lot easier. And so the Instacart app actually shows you in the app where certain items are, and it does this at a lot of stores, but not all of them, and it's not always completely reliable. So like at Fred Meyer, for example, I like to download the Fred Meyer app, and that kind of helps me see around the store where items are at. It's very accurate and up to date, and Instacart actually has not been showing me Fred Meyer items, so it definitely helps to have this to supplement. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel because there's going to be a ton of stuff here for rideshare drivers, just making money passively and other cool side hustles. So make sure you take a look at that.